Let's bring you an update on what has been going on in parts of our continent. Shops and banks in parts of Kenya are expected to remain closed today as security forces brace for fresh protests. Violent demonstrations over the rising cost of living entered a second week on Monday. 2 people have been killed and over 200 others. And the opposition leader there, Raila Odinga, urging people to take to the streets every Monday and Thursday over the high cost of living. Well, let's get you an update now on this, and we speak to freelance journalist in that country, Brenda Nyamichaba, and she joins us from the capital, Nairobi. Brenda, good morning to you. The opposition leader, Raila Odinga, who recently lost out to the president, he's encouraging people to take to the streets Tuesdays and Thursday. How's the president responding to this?
So the basic point of these demonstrations that are happening in Kenya is due to the high cost of living, as you've just mentioned. And Raila Odinga feels that it's very important for his supporters to go out and kind of demand that the president of Kenya to bring down the high cost of living that is affecting a lot of average Kenyans who can't basically access basic necessities such as food. Now, the president says that it is okay to demonstrate, but once these demonstrations become violent, then the police have to take charge and ensure that there's peace and there is peaceful demonstration happening. Now, the issue is that some of these supporters, these anti-government supporters led by Raila Odinga, are sort of taking this opportunity to loot and vandalize properties across the CBD, which is the central business district, especially within Western Kenya. So currently, as we are speaking, there are demonstrations happening. It's every Mondays and now Thursdays. And currently in some areas in Kenya, there are demonstrations taking place where the anti-government supporters have gone to the streets to basically talk about the rights they feel that they deserve. And in the CBD, there is, of course, a lot of police who are basically ready to take charge if there's any violence that takes place when it comes to this protest happening. But so far, I think Kenyans are waiting to see what the mood will be currently. But so far, there's not been too much violence today. But we are just basically waiting to see what happens going as we go forward.
Yeah. Brenda, we can't take politics away from what is happening. Yes, what affects people on a day-to-day basis. This is a protest about the rising cost of living. But there are those who are going to look at it from a prism that says Raila Odinga lost out on the presidency, and that's why you have the man who leads the country right now at the top. How is this being viewed politically?
So politically, I think a lot of people are taking this opportunity, but specifically, let me say the Raila Odinga supporters are taking this opportunity to speak out and basically say that last year's elections were rigged, and they feel that their leaders' win was taken away. But, President William Ruto's reply to this is that he believes that these are issues that were sorted. He believes that these claims are not making any sense because it's a problem that was fixed last year. So a lot of political leaders are basically saying that this is not the opportunity for opposition leader Raila Odinga to take to kind of like demand the government to give him a seat in government, or basically bring up talks that are going to bring up conversations about him having a seat in the government. So a lot of people are having mixed emotions about this particular situation, as they see it as an opportunity where the opposition is taking to kind of demand something from the government.
Yeah, and of course it goes without saying that Mr. Odinga, to this day, has never accepted the electoral outcome, did he?
He's never accepted the electoral outcome. And I felt like a lot of people actually feel that they felt that this was his time to take this election, which unfortunately did not happen. But as a lot of political analysts say, I think it's ready for Kenya to just move forward and we see what happens in our next elections. We just accept the current government we have and we move forward, because at the end of the day, it does affect the livelihoods of a lot of Kenyans, because currently the demonstrations that are happening are affecting businesses within, the town center. So in both sense, money is being lost in the process. People are not being able to make their ends meet if demonstrations keep happening, and especially if they continue being violent.
Brenda Nyamichaba is a freelance journalist talking to us from Kenya today. Thank you very much for your time. A very interesting turn of events in Kenya.